Good afternoon, everyone. This is Christian with PerfectStockAlert.com, a 100% free service for smart investors and traders. All we ask in return, please refer a friend. Today is Tuesday, it's December the 4th, 2012. I'm looking at a few major markets today, as we do every single night. Before I get started, I wanted to announce that last weekend I had the opportunity, the pleasure to actually do a interview for TSP Center and .com. Let me go there right quick and show you where that's at. Okay, here's their website. You guys know we've worked with them in different situations in the past. I've always enjoyed working with Rodney at TSP Center, so any of you guys that are interested in reading that interview, you can do so on the TSPCenter.com website, and they actually have it there posted at the top of the page for, I think, a week, they said, so you guys can check it out if you'd like. Okay, on to the markets. We're going to be looking at Australia's market today, the AORD, and this one we've been watching for a while. Nice move here, big move. Then this is an overextension from support, as support is way down here near the 200 period moving average, and we are above the 50 period moving average. And the main thing with this is that whenever you're in a downtrend, it's a series of lower highs and lower lows. Then you look at this and say, okay, anytime we're in that situation, if we bounce up to the 50 period moving average or above it, it's going to be the best short opportunities. Now in this particular case, you can see that we were in this downtrend for a while, and then we've bounced up here and took out the previous high. And that gives you mixed signals. Basically, you look for the market to move sideways. So that means that you can trade both sides, because your market's moving sideways, it's going to be doing this on the way moving sideways, right? So that means you can short it at the highs, buy it at the lows, and short and buy, and so forth and so on. So that's what we're going to be looking at doing here. In this particular scenario, I could mark this chart, and I might do it, because you'll notice up here there's no shooting star. It doesn't always have to happen. Over here you had a shooting star, make it really easy to call that. In this case here, no shooting star, but we had in that time period, all the global markets were selling off, so the idea that the Australian market would stand by itself didn't make a lot of sense. Well, right now you basically have the same situation. If you go look at Australians not Australia, but if you look at Europe's markets, you see that we've already have signals on those telling you what we think you should do, and they're all topping signals. We have shooting star signals across the board over there. We've marked all the charts that way. U.S. markets the same way. So to see these guys rolling over now, and I say rolling over because you have this high point here, previous high point over here. Every single one of these was higher than the previous, right? Look at the low point. Low point of this candlestick, higher low, higher low. That continued until today. Today you had a series of lower highs and lower lows. That's the first sign of, uh-oh, you might be rolling over right here. And if we take these candlesticks, and this is something else you may not know, but if you take these two candlesticks, this one here and this one here, and you blend them together as make them one candlestick, what you would see would be a shooting star. So to mark it there, and the fact that you have the overbought condition on the ultimate oscillator would make perfect sense to sell here with a tight stop right here, 1 cent above this high. I'm looking for a test of this low. That would make perfect sense to me. So that's something to consider, and that's also, I want you to think about that in the form of the overall global markets. They're all showing these peaking signs. They're all showing a run out of steam. They're all overextended. This is an opportunity. Whenever you look at that, that's one of the things I always do at PerfectStockAlert.com, is look at all the global markets, say, are they all telling me the same thing? Because if they are, then the odds of them being accurate analysis is that much better than if I have one market that's saying sell signal, and I have 15 that are saying no, we're going to go much, much higher. Then I would, ignore that sell signal. Okay, I covered the U.S. markets, or at least a couple of them, yesterday on Monday's market announcement video, so I'm not going to do that now. You can actually watch that video on a free website there at PerfectStockAlert.com, or actually look at the charts that are posted on the homepage for all these markets that we track for you as well. What I am going to show you is the UUP, and this is the U.S. Dollar Index Bullish Fund. And this is something to think about also. Whenever I'm looking at the global markets and they're telling me, okay, we're looking at a sell-off, or you're looking at the U.S. markets and you're looking at sell signals, go and compare to see if the U.S. dollar is confirming that signal. So if you have the U.S. markets that are showing like they're fixing to sell off, then you should see the dollar showing that it's fixing to rally, because when people sell stock, they in effect turn around and buy dollars. Because you sell stock, you get dollars, right? So that puts a floor in the price of the dollar and starts to drive it higher, especially if we see a massive sell-off in the markets. That's how come you had this big move right here. You had a massive sell-off in the markets in this time period. Ergo, you had a massive rally in the dollar, right? Now you've had a bounce in the U.S. markets and a sell-off in the actual price of the dollar. Okay, so now when we look at this, we could say that we have this high point, this higher high, this low point, this higher low, I'm looking for a buy opportunity into this, right? That would make perfect sense. On top of that, you can notice that this point here, 2157 low, has been been tested repeatedly and found it to be a very good zone. You don't have the exact same low points. You have this low point here, you bounce off of it, you come down to 2168, you bounce off that, you hit 2162, you bounce off that. Now we're pulled back down to 2178. We're in this zone right here where this is where we're going to be looking for our major support to come into play again. So with that in mind, you're looking for a buy signal, an opportunity to get long, and on top of that you have this bullish divergence. This tells you that this low point here, and then you can see the current one today, you're trending down here. The corresponding time period on the ultimate oscillator doesn't show that story. You see this low point here and then a higher low here, showing that momentum is increasing to the upside. That means this massive sell-off here is an unsustainable one. It's an overshoot to the downside, so to speak. So it's going to get sucked back up really quick. And on top of that, we have this massive gap up here that hasn't filled. I'll talk about that in a minute. So anyway, I'm looking at this and saying, okay, this is something that's confirming the market sell-off that I'm anticipating. It's also a great buy opportunity if you can time it right. And that's what I'm trying to do here. The only reason why I haven't marked it, and somebody could be already long this situation, say, okay, I'm going to buy here with today's activity, set my stop off of this low here at 2162, so my stop would be 2161. You could do that. I like to just follow my rules, so I need to see a hammer candlestick formation followed by confirmation the following day, and then I'd be a buyer in that scenario. But this is something that's confirming what you're talking about in the U.S. market selling off. It's also being confirmed by all the other major markets showing the topping signals, so that's important to note. And you have the the bullish divergence forming on the UUP here, and again with the gap that I had mentioned. But in this case, whenever you're looking at gaps, you look at this overall chart, you see gaps everywhere. You got one here, you got one, let's see, there's one here, there's all over the place. So whenever I have a chart that looks like this, I don't pay any mind to gaps unless they're very large. Here's a real big one from here all the way down to here, right? Then we filled it right here. Then you've got a massive one between here and here. That got filled right here. Now we've got another one from here to here. I'm looking for this to fill as well. It's a very large one. So when the next buy opportunity, I'm looking for a test of that level, so the 22 area. So this is, again, something you should be looking at as a potential trade. When as soon as it sets up, I'd be getting long in that scenario. Quick little announcement for you guys. I mentioned yesterday that we actually have updated the website at perfectstockalert.com. There's a lot of new features there, as well as on the homepage. If you go there, all the charts that I used to track, or I still track, but all my personal charts, they're over here on the homepage right below there. You can click on either one of them to see my notes on them, as well as my long-term charts are there as well. So that's something for you guys. On top of that, we have some swing trade alerts for you there, and we're preparing to bring out the portfolio in time for January 1st, 2013. I'm going to do that assuming that we continue to grow. That's the one caveat. I will keep working my tail off for you guys as long as you keep referring your friends and sharing our videos online. As long as we're growing, I'll do the portfolio for 2013 so you guys can see every trade that I'm making in there. Other than that, if we don't grow, then of course I would just abort it, because there's no sense in me doing that much more work if no one really cares about it, okay? God bless, take care, and I will see you in the next one. Please take a moment to review our disclaimer. The information provided herein is our opinion only. Under no circumstances do any statements here represent a recommendation to buy or sell securities or make any kind of an investment. You are responsible for your own due diligence. To summarize, we do not provide investment advice, nor do we make any claims or promises that any information here will lead to a profit, loss, or any other result. These videos are for educational purposes only.